Michelle is a musician with albums released as Everyone Except Me and artist behind the post-apocalyptic webcomic Stray Cats. She's kind, a bit shy, and furiously creative. Henrique is a filmmaker with over 24 films and TV shows as producer, director, and occasionally host. He also released a couple of music albums. He's bombastic, larger than life, and tenacious almost to a fault. Together, they've been best friends for a decade. This show is awkward.
I don't like to brag, but I'm kind of a badass.
Yeah.
I break all the rules.
You do.
Today, I used the bathroom at a gas station without buying anything.
No.
And they had a sign that said to buy something. Walked right by the guy. He said, "How are you?" I said, "I'm great." I went in there, did my business, walked out, drove away into the sunset.
Yeah. I mean, it's a gas station. Like, people come there to go to the bathroom, right? That's what you do at a gas station.
I guess so. I've always had a weird feeling about like gas stations that are like local gas stations versus like off of a highway.
Yeah.
This was just on the way back from the mall. And now I sound wicked old because I just said I went to the mall. I went there shopping for shoes. You know, I'm very disappointed in DSW. It's the middle of winter and they only had one pair of Crocs for sale. Wow. And they were black, which is not cool.
Yeah. Or
what?
Or is cool? I don't know.
I don't know if Crocs are ever cool.
Yeah, but
they are when I wear them.
But they're black, so they're like dangerous Crocs.
Now, the women's section did have 3 pairs of Crocs, but they were white, black, and gray.
That's weird.
Yeah,
actually.
So I mean, I didn't even bother checking for my size because technically Crocs are all unisex. Mm-hmm. So the women's section would have had the men's size and the woman's size on the shoes.
Right.
But yeah, no such luck. I was going to wear a brand new pair of Crocs today. Just to look fancy, but I didn't. I saw a couple of shoes I liked. I might go back. I have like a really good coupon.
Yeah, they have good coupons.
Yeah, so that's why I'm even thinking about it is like I have a really good coupon. So, so that was my failure for the day, was trying to find a brand new pair of Crocs.
That's okay.
I guess so. What about you? What you were going to go on your roof?
Yeah, but I haven't yet. And I just mean like the roof of my porch, not the big roof. All the cables fell off of the side of my house. So they're just hanging.
Cables, like for your internet and electricity, or what are these cables?
So what happened was on Saturday we had kind of a windstorm basically, and they were secured up there by the people who put the siding on, and they just fell off because, like everything else, is they did.
Out where I am, about 20 miles north, they got tornadoes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So from the same storm. So
we didn't get anything like that. And it wasn't even like that windy. It was just windy. But they fell off. They've probably been up there forever and they've never fallen off before, I assume. They fell off and I got home and they were just like cables hanging super low, like I can touch them. And it was late. It was like at night and I was like, I don't know. And so then I was thinking about like how they might be electrical wires and they're going to go on fire and stuff. And then I looked in the morning and it's just internet cables. The electrical one is safe. So I don't have to worry about like touching them or messing them up. And most of them are not active at all, but I don't know which ones are. So I just have to shove them all on the side of my house again, I guess.
I mean, yes, they're less dangerous than electricity, except if your internet goes out and you suddenly don't have access to memes.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that would be scary.
Yeah, it would be. And I was talking to somebody about this yesterday because I was like, I don't even like, how would I even call my cable company to get them to fix it? And then I forget like that, like everybody has like, you know, like 4G and they would have been fine.
It would have been a hiccup in your day.
Yes.
For me, it would have been a little bit worse because it's so heavily tied to my work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, using like a full blown broadband connection.
Yeah.
Because I'm like uploading like, 10 gigabyte files and stuff a lot. So that's the only frustrating thing. But in general, my life would not be, I'd still be able to, send messages and stuff like that. All the important internet stuff.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be able to watch most things that I watch on a TV. It would have been bad. But I would have been able to get help. It's not like it would have been like, oh no, I'm stranded here and I don't have a phone.
Die.
Yeah.
You're gonna die. Yeah, no, that's true. Although sometimes there are fates worse than death, like dealing with a cable company.
Yeah, my cable company's not too bad though. They're pretty straightforward. I like them. So that's weird.
I have Spectrum, because they bought out Time Warner, and they're actually pretty good. I've actually had overall good experiences with them. So I can't really bitch and moan too much, actually.
Yeah, me neither. I have RCN and like they don't really bother me. They just do what they're supposed to do. And I say, can you lower my rates? And they say, no, we can't do that. And that's good enough. So, they're all small and not super competitive with the other ones. But like every time someone comes around and knocks on my door about like the other two, about like Comcast or Verizon, they're always, and they ask who I'm with. And I say RCN. They're like, don't they have like really terrible service? Like they always try to get me to think that like my service is terrible and that my internet drops all the time.
Don't
and it doesn't.
They worship Satan and kill children?
Exactly. And then I go, yeah, I know. I like it that way. And then...
That's how I like my cable system. Worshipping the Dark Lord, killing Gentile children to make matzah.
Yeah.
Did you know about that piece of hate propaganda?
No.
That's like an old hate propaganda for Jewish people.
Wow.
Is that they use the blood of Christian babies to make matzah.
That's obviously not someone who's ever had matzah before. Matzah's
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's pretty flavorless. Like I like the taste of flour, so I like matzah taste, but it's not like it doesn't taste like meat or blood.
I was just thinking like there's nothing more offensive than the idea that matzah could have flavor.
Yeah.
It does. You're right. It has a granular flavor. I like the way matzah tastes, but it definitely I can't imagine eating matzah by itself. Like you made me that egg matzah thing that one time.
Yeah.
That was really nice.
Yeah, I should make that. I think I have some matzah and I have eggs. Why am I not doing that right now?
I right this second in the middle of the show. Yeah.
We have to stop. So
But and then of course I've made matzo ball soup a bunch, which I enjoy quite a bit. But but again, it's like flavored by the broth and it's flavored by all that stuff. So, but yeah, newborn baby blood is in the matzah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why they kidnap children, is to make their matzah.
Right. That doesn't seem efficient. It just doesn't.
It really, really doesn't. Other than the fact that there is a plethora of Gentile children. That's really the only benefit, the only like good sound, business in that.
It's just really time consuming when you could just go to the store and buy some flour. Like you gotta like steal babies. Like it just doesn't sound
mixed into like the meal and stuff. It's not that the blood is. I don't think it's that the newborn Gentile baby blood is in and of itself all that matzah is made out of. I think it's just a component. Right. I would assume.
I get that. It's just like if you could do it without that and you save time and energy. I don't know. I don't know why you'd do that.
Yeah, I guess it's just for the evil of it, like for the sake of evil.
Right.
Just so, the miserly, evil Jewish guy is just rubbing his hands. Good. Kill the children. I want a very banal dinner.
Yes.
So, yeah. Well, there you go. You learned a new racism today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I find this stuff fascinating. Because that's just so weird. Because the scariest thing about like a racial, propaganda piece like that is that somebody believed it.
Yeah.
Like there were people who believed it, even if it was in a passive way, just in the back of their minds. They were like, oh, well, don't hang around that Jewish guy because, some Jewish people use children's blood to make matzah. Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
What? I don't understand. I mean, the last person I would be afraid of to steal a child would be Jewish people, because it's like they're a pretty like they're a pretty closed off club. Like they don't want more children.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to be like, we're stealing your children and making them Jews. That's not how they roll. They're like, no, you want to be a Jew? You're going to have to work at this a lot. It's a challenge. So it's like, it's not like they're going to kidnap them for that. Now, so I guess they're going to kidnap them to kill them, which also just, I don't know, it doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
Not really.
I mean, especially with so many Jewish lawyers, you'd think they'd be like, I think that's a bad move.
Yeah, keep having it. Well, what if that means that they get more clients? Because they're defense attorneys, maybe.
I think you just showed your hand.
Oh, man.
Now we all know. So what is the saddest day of your life?
Oh, so we are going to do this?
I feel like we should follow it up because you've since then told me that you did some soul searching. For those who have not listened to last week's episode, I asked you within like 5 seconds, what was the saddest day of your life?
Yeah.
And you didn't really have an answer.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah. I mean, there are probably multiple days that are very, very, there are contenders. And honestly, there are things that like, I'm sorry, I can't really talk about on, because the people are listening. But okay, so one of the saddest days, if not the saddest day, was the day that like, my cat had died. And it wasn't the day that he died because I didn't really have any emotions on that day because I'm me. But it was probably like in the next week or a couple weeks later, when I was at my job where I was working in like a BJ's, like the big box store, like for a different company doing delivery orders and stuff. And there were like not any orders that day really. So I was just sitting around and crying. Like my entire 8-hour shift. I just pretty much cried. And also was trying not to cry at the same time because there are people around. Yeah. So it was probably that day.
That's a pretty bad day.
Yeah.
I remember I was very shocked. When Pumpkin passed. I hope, I know this is like a hard thing to talk about, about your cat, Pumpkin. But more so why it was so shocking, aside from the fact that Pumpkin was not very old or anything.
Yeah.
Was because I knew how bad it must have affected you because, okay, so like, our friendship is pretty, there's a pretty consistent element of our friendship, which is like, I call you freaking out about my life. Like that's a pretty consistent element of our friendship for over a decade. But there have been occasions where you've called me. I don't know about freaking out. You're so much better at handling your shit in some ways.
Yeah. Okay.
Take the compliment. Okay. I said in some ways so that you could take the compliment.
Okay.
But I mean, but there have been times where you've called me up and you needed to talk. Usually I'm the dramatic one. I'm the one who calls and is like, oh my God, you're the one who's like, not doing so great. And then I'm like, what's going on? And then it becomes a conversation. But you would call me a few times when things were really, not good. And we talked. And I found out Pumpkin had passed like a few days later.
Yeah.
And that worried me a lot because, that told me that like, that was like, overload. You just didn't even have anything to say at all. And that's, very worrisome.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, I mean, what would you not agree that you took it very hard?
Yeah, no, I did. I definitely did.
We don't have to talk about Pumpkin if you don't want to. I'm not going to push you to do it for the sake of, some content stuff. I mean, it's an interesting conversation, but it doesn't have to take place.
No, I mean, if you want to talk about it, we can. It's not. I mean,
well, we never have really. I mean, we have, but we haven't. You know what I mean?
I guess.
I don't want to talk just about Pumpkin passing away. I want to talk about Pumpkin the cat. I want to talk about, your friend the cat, if that's cool with you.
I mean, I guess.
Well, okay, so tell me, when did you get Pumpkin? Because Pumpkin was your first cat, right? I mean, like,
yeah.
He lived with you when you lived on your own.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, he lived with your mom for a while until you right? Or help me out. I don't remember all the details.
So he was a feral cat in my parents' neighborhood in New Jersey. We guess no one's really sure because even though the animal control person had told us that there was like a cat colony somewhere in the neighborhood, we didn't see a lot of feral cats, so we were just like, I don't know, man. But he would just kind of go around. He was relatively young, a couple years old, and just kind of go around. He was getting fed by multiple neighbors. He was in just really good shape, but some of my neighbors were concerned, and they, against what I thought would be better judgment, which is just to leave this cat alone who's not bothering anybody. He's literally not bothering anybody. I think he might have gotten into a small fight with a neighbor cat, but I don't think either of them were injured. They just made some noises and then ran away. But so one of my neighbors called animal control, and animal control eventually caught him. It took a while because he's smart. And then they took him in, and they were like, okay, so we're gonna take him in and see if he's okay, and maybe we'll foster him or something. I don't exactly remember how it went, but it basically ended up being a phone call from animal control that was just hey, so he's in really good shape. He didn't even have fleas, which I still think is weird.
That is weird.
Yeah, he was super clean. Nothing was wrong with him, but he was feral. So they were like, oh no. They called and they were like, okay, so we're gonna take him to the vet tomorrow and make sure he's okay. And if he's not okay, we'll put him down. If he is okay, we'll also put him down. Because
yes.
Unless one of you guys will take him. And the neighbor who called in had dogs, and vicious dogs, and could absolutely not take a cat. And the other neighbor was like, I don't want a cat. So it ended up going to my mom, because my mom was the only one who could take a cat and felt super bad, even though she's not the one who initiated any of this. Which is kind of how we got most of the cats that we have. Not that we had a lot of cats. The total
two or three.
Yeah, the total amount of cats that existed in that house were 3, and it wasn't even at the same time. But they were all kind of oh, this cat is just nowhere to go. So we ended up having to take him in, and he was totally unsocialized, and we couldn't put him back outside because an animal control person would totally know and just come and take him and kill him again.
Yeah,
for the first time.
Kill him the first time. Okay,
for the first time.
The story was getting a little weird. You were like, and then this New England guy kept telling me not to go out to this pet cemetery.
But I went
past the brambles, but you didn't. Yeah, the ground was really stony.
Anyway. Yeah, it was bad, but it was okay because then he came back to life.
The end, just like the book.
Yeah,
and then everybody was happy.
Everybody was super happy. I don't know. I felt like that cat was totally okay, and we should have just he was just angry, he was just real pissed off. He was like, I didn't want to come back, kind of deal.
Winston Churchill the cat was just like, God damn it, I was finally embraced by the cold hands of death.
Yeah,
and what did he do?
That was kind of how I felt his attitude was in the movie. But anyway, so we had to take him in, and we just had him in a cage for like a really long time because he was terrified of us, like really, really terrified of us. And we had another cat at the time that like didn't like cats, so he would just like walk by the cage and hiss at him, which is not very nice.
Not super nice. No, I wouldn't do that.
No, good. And Pumpkin like really liked cats, so Pumpkin started coming around to our other cat, Xander, like pretty early on, even though Xander was like, I don't like you, I don't like cats or change or anything. Because he's that kind of cat.
A very cat-like cat.
Yeah, but he was always like kind of grumpy. He was like, I don't want things to be different kind of cat.
Or even the way they were.
Yeah, exactly. But he was sweet, but he didn't like change. So like eventually eventually Pumpkin came around, which is good because they had basically told us that he was a lost cause, which is why they were going to kill him. But he like really bonded to me for some reason. And like, you know, like wanted to be held and stuff. So he ended up just becoming my cat. Like, when I moved out, cause I wasn't even living there when he was introduced. I think I was there kind of for a little while, like I had moved out and then I came back home and then I moved out again, and they just kind of figured like he was like attached to me, so he just ended up coming with me.
And how old was Pumpkin, or how old were you, sorry, when you took Pumpkin?
I don't know.
I mean, like 24, 25?
Whatever I was when I moved back to Philly.
When you had the West Philly place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was that? What year is it now? It's 2020. So that was like 7 years ago.
Okay.
So that would make me 28, maybe?
Okay. That sounds about right. I was just curious. So, your own pet, because I didn't have my first own pet until I was 30.
Mm-hmm.
So, but much like you, I grew up with pets around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you and Pumpkin had bonded very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Well, not really, but
but you bonded, and it was noticeable compared to everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so you moved Pumpkin with you to West Philly.
Yeah.
And how did that go? Like, how did that go?
Not good, because, well, first of all, I just want to point this out because since there are like other people listening to things like this, like I did not choose the name Pumpkin. I still don't like that name. But we can
retroactively change the name right now.
No, that would be very, very wrong, and we should not do that.
Okay, we will not do that.
I could have changed his name, but we were already calling him that, you know. It was given to him by one of the neighbors. So, but it went well in the sense that like we, you know, were good together and stuff, but he like was very scared of everybody else, so we would hide if anybody came over, which led me to believe that maybe he wasn't real. But that's another story.
We used to talk about Pumpkin being like Tyler Durden from Fight Club.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll be like, there is no Pumpkin. He'd be like, oh God, then who ate that centipede that was in the house? Was it me?
Yeah. He liked to eat centipedes, house centipedes. And then he'd lick the floor when they were gone. But yeah, he actually got really, really sick after we moved, and they thought he was going to die. They thought he had cancer or something. And then it turned out he, like, after, you know, going over all of the tests, they thought he had been poisoned. And I had no idea what he was poisoned by.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was really, really bad. But he just kind of eventually got better. And then he was fine for a while, you know.
For quite a while.
Yeah, for years. So
yeah. And I remember Pumpkin. I saw Pumpkin. Did I ever pet Pumpkin?
I think you did, because
eventually.
Yeah, because eventually he started, like, after a couple of years, he just got real tired of like hiding from people. And then because he was I mean, he wasn't really like a lap cat, but kind of. So like he expected to be like held by me and like sit next to me on the couch and stuff. And he would just get like I think he just got like really tired of like not being able to when people were over. So eventually he was like, okay, I have to come out.
I seem to remember one time staying at your apartment for a couple, like maybe three days or something, or 4 days. And toward the end of that, he was just like coming out around me. He was just like, I can't put up with it. It's kind of like I used to be afraid of flying, and then I flew from New York to California. And after 2 hours, I'm like, all right, I can't be afraid of this flight anymore. It's too long.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this. I can't do it anymore. I'm just not afraid anymore because it's too exhausting. I think maybe it was similar to for Pumpkin. Pumpkin was just like, all right, you're here. Clearly, I'm going over here now.
Yeah, exactly.
But one of my favorite things you've ever drawn was that illustration of Pumpkin you did. Do you remember the one I'm talking about?
Maybe.
The one that says like, what was it? I love you, or I'm terrified of you, or something like that. What was it?
The patch one. That says like cuddle with me, I'm terrified of you.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was like hold me, I'm terrified of you, or something along those lines. Oh goodness. So but yeah, so I mean I remember I had fond memories of Pumpkin, definitely. Yeah. Mostly though, my fondest memories of Pumpkin were listening to you talk about him. You know, about like in your day in, day out. And I remember you made a video once of giving him his dinner.
Yeah.
It was very, very cute.
Yeah.
Because you kind of talk and he'd kind of talk.
Mm-hmm.
It was very cute. It's a very good cat.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know. To be frank, I've always found a true poetic beauty in the fact that, one of your best cat friends ever was feral. Just kind of fits. If I'm being perfectly honest, it just kind of fits, Michelle. It just kind of fits you.
Okay.
I think it does.
I mean, you're probably right. I don't know.
Well, I mean, lived out in the wild, had no social skills, but was oddly clean, didn't have fleas. It sounds like someone I know. So I'm just saying, I mean, like, in many ways you are a feral cat.
Maybe.
But so, not to make it super downer, but, so Pumpkin had a heart problem. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was revealed when he was in the process of passing away, or right when he passed away.
Yeah, I mean there's like not a process. So yeah. We just didn't know. I mean, he had heart that I guess he was in congestive heart failure. We just had and it's not like, and I had this thing happen that was like really, really stressful after he died, where I was like trying to adopt a cat. And, I had to like explain, it's like, well, how did you lose your last cat? And I like filled out on the application, like all the stuff that happened. And then I got a call from the rescue, and they like, I don't know like who they had spoken to, at like the vet office, but it sounded like someone who just wasn't there when it happened. Because they like kind of made it sound like I had known about things and I had just not gone to the vet until it got really bad. Which is so that was a really big.
That's not how cats work either. A lot of symptoms cats hide. It is very hard to do preventative health for cats.
Mm-hmm, absolutely, because they're solitary animals, and they do not show pain or weakness very often.
You like, as weird as it sounds, you have to luck out with like a minor catastrophic health problem. Mm-hmm. Like they have like a minor episode so that you can get to the vet, and the vet can be like, oh crap, here's what's going on.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Because I mean, dogs are so different. Like I was just helping my cousin and his wife out with their puppies. They have two little 12-week-old puppies that are adorable as hell. One of them jumped off the couch and hit its shoulder like right into a coffee table really hard. And literally its first instinct when it got off the ground and it was walking on three legs was it went right to to my cousin's wife. Like it just walked straight to her, because it was like, I hurt myself, help.
Yeah.
Dogs are different because they're so social. They're extremely, extremely social.
Yeah.
When Henwolf kind of hides pain a little bit. I have to kind of watch her close, but that's different because she's, an old dog and a big working dog. But not to go all the way to dogs. It was just, so that just made me mad though, because it's like, I know for a fact, cause, my childhood cat, Neo, when he died, he was like 16 almost. He was 15. He was almost 16 years old. And yeah, he had heart failure, and there was just it was just one day he was breathing really, really hard. And they're like, why are you breathing so hard? And then they took him to the vet, and the vet looked at him and they were like, we'd recommend you put him down in the next hour or two.
Yeah. Wow.
His heart's just not okay.
Yeah.
But we never had a clue. Never had a single clue. And I feel like I hear that all the time about cat owners. Yeah. Because you just don't know until your cat. But of course, unlike Neo was a senior citizen. And Pumpkin was 8 years old? 7 years old? He was 7.
Yeah. Gosh. But like, and like the other thing is it's not even like, I mean, I'm not perfect with like vet visits, but he had been to the vet like 3 months before for a checkup. Yeah. So it's not even like it was one of those years where I was like, oh man, like I just totally forgot to bring him to the vet, and he's young and he's healthy and he's going to be okay. Like, no, we just didn't catch it. Like there was just no signs of it. Yeah. So it was just like we brought him in, and he was in heart failure, and like they were going to put him on oxygen until like, they could probably decide if we wanted to, put him down, and he just died.
I remember you telling me that it was while you guys were discussing what to do. He was just gone. And it's hard with cats in particular, but with pets in general. I mean, it is what it is. I try very hard not to focus on the mortality of my pets. And what did I do? I got dogs that were already older. Yeah. But I don't want to, I mean, we could talk about my dogs on another thing. I want to talk about I want to talk about Pumpkin, and then I want to talk a little bit about Gigs, just a little bit. Okay. But so I was around quite a bit, I feel like, when you first started embarking on like, I got to find a cat. I've decided I want a new cat. Was that a year later, or was that more?
No, that was, he died in December, and that was actually at the very end of December, because I don't understand myself. And I was in shock, and I was like, I guess I'm just going to get another cat right now. So I immediately started looking for another cat, which was so stupid.
But you didn't really make headway, like real headway. Well, obviously, because you ended up with Gigs. Wasn't that around the following Christmas then that you got Gigs? No, it was even further?
No, it wasn't even that far.
I'm scared. I'm sorry, I remember. I mean, I just remember spending Christmas with Gigs. That's something that's just very clear in my head. Because if I'm lucky, I get to see you 4 or 5 times a year. Yeah. I get to come and visit. So please, so correct me, please.
No. So like I said, immediately started looking. He died in the middle of the month, and I had a new cat on December 24th. I had a cat.
But that went very poorly.
It did. But I was looking seriously and apparently serious about this.
Oh, well, yeah. But I will say, I mean, I totally remember you getting a cat early on and it not going well. So what happened with that cat? I mean, like, what was the deal?
What happened with that cat is it was a big gray, partially maybe Siamese cat with like one eye, and it was the nicest cat ever, and it was a little bit chattier than I'm used to, and sweet, and it just followed me around, and I was terrified of it. Well,
and I remember, that's the thing I'm remembering mostly. Maybe I just remember it taking longer because we had so many, pardon this, agonizing conversations about you getting another cat. And I mean that with all due love. But they were agonizing because you were such a wreck about the idea, even though you were trying. Yeah. To get another cat, you would agonize, and I feel like there were stretches where you weren't looking for a second. You were like, maybe I should stop looking, but then you kept looking anyway, and stuff like that.
That was also the same year that I dislocated my shoulder. So like it was just all squished in together in a really bad.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad.
What a fucking year.
Yeah, it was a really bad year.
Oh my God. Now that you say that, I'm like, yeah, that was all. Wow. Oh my God. Okay. So but I remember we went to a couple of cat rescues together.
Yeah.
And was that while I was taking care of you with your shoulder that we went to the cat rescues?
Yes.
Okay. See, yeah, it's weird. Okay, my memory's weird.
No, I understand.
So you're looking and you're looking and you're looking, and then you go to a shelter. What shelter do you want to say what shelter it was that you found gigs?
Oh, no. So I didn't. Yeah. Okay. So like between that, like I adopted the one cat and returned him and apologized. And then I adopted another cat and returned that cat and apologized.
And what was wrong with that other cat? Just briefly, was it
that cat was mean?
Okay, that's the one I remember the most. I remember the mean one.
Well, there were two mean ones. There was one that was like, I really didn't like me. And I had her for a couple of weeks, and it just like our relationship was going downhill. Like she would just like look at me and hiss. And
I feel like you would get along with that because you'd be like, we have something in common, cat.
That I also hate me. Yeah, but I don't want to be reminded of that all the time. And then she also like peed all over my couch, and it was like things are getting progressively worse. And I was like, I was still like, I'm not even sure this was the right time for me to get a cat type deal. Yeah. So I returned her to that place, and these were all like, what am I trying to say? Like either like really good no-kill shelters or that thing.
Fosters?
No, but that's not that wasn't the word. But yeah, like foster organizations. So like it's not like they were in danger. They didn't go back to like a shelter or something. But yeah, so I was like, this isn't going to work. And she was young, so I think she was adopted out basically immediately after. And then there was a third cat that I tried to foster from a big shelter, and he was just mean, and he would like scratch me. And I had not been told that he was having like just issues that I was not aware of. And they also didn't seem to be aware of that he was having, where he was just kind of like, I just couldn't predict him. And I'm pretty good with cats and like knowing like what, how they're feeling, and like, like Gigs bites me and stuff, but she's not trying to hurt me. She just wants to play. But like, I was just not sure what was up with him, and he would just kind of switch. So I think something may have been going on. I think maybe he needed to be medicated. But anyway, like, so I was like, I can't do this. So then I was like, well, maybe I need a cat that has physical problems instead of, mental problems. Cause I thought like I could get another cat that was like Pumpkin, that was like really, really shy. And then we could be best friends and no one would ever see them because they weren't real.
Exactly. Yeah.
But after that last cat, I was like, that's not going to work. Pumpkin was a special case, and I'm not going to find something that like, works out exactly like that. So I was like, I want a cat that like needs me or needs someone, not just like a kitten, that someone else is gonna, absolutely go for, and like there's no reason for me to take them. And
I feel that 100%, by the way. I mean, with the way I look at pet ownership, I feel like completely. I want a dog that needs me.
Yeah, exactly. I want something that's a little bit harder to adopt, so that
you're doing something kind. You're doing something kind. It's okay. I mean, like it's egotistical, but we're all egotistical.
Yeah, but I also just like weird things. So
oh yeah, no, there's that too. No, you're weird.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, it wasn't a surprise, but so I remember you sent me a picture of Gigs, and for the many people who don't know, Gigs is missing a substantial portion of her face, because it's right in the middle. It's mostly her nose,
and part of her mouth,
but beyond that, perfectly healthy cat.
Maybe, who knows?
Well, as far as we can tell. So tell me about, you go to meet Gigs.
Yeah. So I had found her just, like those big online pet things that you search for animals. And I was like, she's really cool. And like, she had like a really good description that made me think that like she wasn't mean or anything. And I'd been thinking about it. Actually, she had been up for adoption for a really long time. And I had like in passing thought about, putting in an application a couple times, but the application was like super long and I was like, they're going to reject me. So I eventually like put in an application and then they called me and they're like, we think that you'd be like really good for her and stuff. And like, you could totally start the adoption process now and then just take her when you come. Cause we we like are positive that you're going to love her. And I was like, that's cool, but I'm not positive about that. Mm-hmm. So I just went and saw her and, she was just like super nice and she like immediately like was interested in me. So that was good. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, and then I went home and I thought about it for a while, you know.
Well, and Gig's original name was Fizzgig.
Yeah, it's still Fizzgig.
We call her Gigs.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cooler name.
Fizzgig is pretty cool.
Gigs is cooler than Fizzgig. Just saying. But Gigs is a very good cat and a very friendly cat. I like Gigs a lot. I feel like we get along really well.
Yeah, she likes you a lot.
I was looking at my time hop and it showed me pictures from when I helped you move into your current house. Mm-hmm. And one of the pictures was just Gigs laying on the bed in the guest room that I was going to sleep on, just sitting there like a chicken, roosting on it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, I could see me going, I need a picture of this cat. This sweet cat. So, and of course, I want to say one of my favorite things about Gigs, sincerely, is I feel like if I were a cat, I would be similar to Gigs, because Gigs's natural instinct is to just shove her missing nose into people's faces and make them uncomfortable.
Thanks for listening. You can email us at thisshowIsAwkward@gmail.com or go to awkwardshow.com or whatever. See you next time.